Hey, good afternoon. Afternoon, everybody. So glad you're here. I am Trish from List Perfectly. I am the Director of Events and Education. And today we are here to talk about List Perfectly's unlimited sharing Poshmark tools. Not only sharing followers and offers, no add-ons, no limits. We're going to talk about that with a very special guest. We're also going to talk about Posh Fest coming up, what we're going to be doing there, because we all leave this weekend or early next week to go to Posh Fest. Who's excited? We're going to talk about what we're giving away at Posh Fest and all the fun things. But first, let's bring in Ms. Desiree.
Hi, Trish.
Hi, Desiree. How the heck are you?
Good. It's going.
Good. So,
Can't
for
wait for
those,
Posh Fest.
I know. So, Desiree, this will be your first Posh Fest.
Yes, I'm excited.
I'm excited too. It's going to be great. So for those of you who do not know Desiree, she is in my mastermind group, so I talk to her almost every single day. But outside of that, please, Desiree, tell us a little bit about yourself if anyone else here is new.
Well, my name is Desiree. I own Luxury on a Dime. I run this business with my husband. We work out of a small warehouse, and we've been running this business since 2020 is when we registered the business. But I've been on Poshmark since 2017, and Poshmark is my top selling platform.
I know, and I got to be honest, I just said to her off air that I was surprised by that. It is an interesting thing to me that Poshmark is your number one platform. And why do you think that is? Do you just think strategically you have items that people on Posh want? Do you think, what do you think your secret is?
You never give away your secrets.
Well,
but yes, I will tell you. The secret is, I feel like, is that I have a lot of control with Poshmark. I'm able to reach out to my customers on a back end basis, kind of interact with them before and after sales. It also helps that you're able to create your titles and your images, but then also Poshmark searches within your descriptions. So if I can create a really good description with good keywords that List Perfectly actually provides for me, so I'm not doing it all, not taking all that credit, but if once I can do that, that actually helps me better in the search. And then with the sharing tool, that brings my products up to the top. So I think with all of those combined, that really brings my business to a better level than maybe some people who are manually sharing or maybe just taking pictures on the floor, where Poshmark, it's more about aesthetics there. And List Perfectly removes my backgrounds. It gives me options. So that is where I feel I have that heads up.
Yeah. And so let's talk about sharing. We have a video that we're going to play, and Desiree and I are going to kind of talk. We'll go through it while the video does, but we wanted you guys to kind of see it in action. So let's see if I can tell. Oh, look, maybe I can do it. All right, let's see.
Selling on Poshmark takes time, and sharing your closet is one of the most important things you can do. With List Perfectly, you can let our extension handle sharing, following, and even sending offers automatically, so you can focus on making sales instead of clicking buttons.
And so on that point, Desiree, do you feel like it's now a little bit more hands-off than it used to be, that you have more time to do other things?
100%. Like, I had a schedule with my husband. We made okay, I will share in the morning. You're going to share the closet in the afternoon. And then I'll share again before I go to bed. We were trying to offset this. And when you think about it, even at 100 or even 500 items, when you're manually sharing and clicking 500 items, that is the most monotonous thing. And that was the only way that you're going to really get your items up in search. So it was so important to do that it took up so much time. And this has not only relieved the time. I know at one point people were actually paying for other people to share their closet.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
And so this is integrated within the service. So this is just like a godsend to have everything all in one. And so, yeah, I think that sharing is the most important thing you can do on Poshmark, whether you have good listings or not.
Correct. And I Manish, I was at Posh Fest. I think it was either 19 or 20. And Manish, who at the time was the CEO, stood up and he talked about how the sharing made it a democracy, right? The one who put in the most work was going to get up to the top. That it made it a democratic system, and that it wasn't just it made it. He thought it was more fair. I don't know if I agree with him, but that's their philosophy, anyways. So if that's their philosophy, we have to do it's their sandbox, right? So we have to just learn to play in it.
Inside the sharing settings, you're in full control. You can set a daily share limit so you don't go over the amount you want. You can choose where sharing comes from. You can control how many items are shared per session and how much time passes between sessions.
So how important is that to you, Desiree? Do you have a strategy? I know you have a larger closet, and the larger your closet, it becomes a little bit more complicated, only because Poshmark kind of restrains, they don't want unfair advantage. So
Yes, of
we've
course.
all heard about share jail. So we don't want anyone in. So what do you limitate? What are your limitations?
Well, when I had a smaller closet, what I did was I shared my items and then I did return shares.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I did that is because with return shares, not everybody is using a sharing tool.
Right.
What's going to happen is that person's going to come in and be like, wow, that person shared 5 items of mine or even 3. They'll come to your closet and go to share items. And that engages them not only to visit your closet and see what you have, they're going to share the item and be like, oh, maybe I'm not going to share that. I'm going to buy it.
Right.
So you may gain a customer just by sharing items. So I think that it's important. And it's also part of what they call Poshmark community. And Poshmark is all about community.
Yeah. And that's the difference, right? That's a big difference. That's a really big difference for the way that Posh works comparatively to eBay. Most of the sellers on Posh are also buyers.
Yes.
So it isn't like an eBay seller. The Poshmark sellers are a different breed. And so a lot of these people on there are buying and are looking.
Yes, they will sell products so that they can make the money. And that was what Poshmark, I think, was built on.
Absolutely.
Was for us to go into our closets, sell our products to turn around to purchase more on Poshmark.
Right. Exactly.
Want to return the favor when someone shares your listings? Just enable return shares and List Perfectly will automatically share a few of their items back once a day. You can also choose to share your entire closet, spread shares across multiple days, or keep sharing all day long.
So that's a good question. Do you share all day long, or do you have times? You can either share all day, or you can do the times and you decide when they go out. What do you do?
I kind of like to mix it up. Like once a week, I will switch it up. So just because I want it to kind of be like more of a I guess you would say a personal thing where they feel like I'm doing it and it's not a bot. I'll switch it up. One week I'm like, yeah, let's share the whole closet all day. And next week I'm like, you know what? Let's only share between these hours, because I'm also catering to maybe even holidays. Because like during the holidays, I might not want to share all day because I know everybody's going to be eating dinners at their families, like during whatever, like Sunday evening. So I might share early in the morning to later in the early afternoon. So I do try to hit also when they have Poshmark parties. So List Perfectly allows you to share to the Poshmark party. So if your item is applicable for that party, so if they're having a jean party and I have a bunch of jeans, those get shared into those parties during those time periods. So sometimes I will cater to the parties. Sometimes I will just do an all day share. So I kind of like to mix it up.
Good for you. Okay.
Plus, you can even pick the order items are shared. Once sharing begins, you'll see share stats update in real time. Then if you head over to Poshmark, you'll notice your share count climbing automatically. Next, let's talk about...
Before we move on, I want to say that's kind of a new thing that we've added, the share counts. I've really liked that. I know that it was happening, but I like seeing the numbers move. So for me, that was a really good thing that we've just added.
And one thing I did want to touch on was the sharing from bottom to top versus random.
Yep.
So be beware that if you are only doing sporadic shares, like you're only doing 50 items or 20 items, and you're doing from top to bottom, you're only going to continuously share those 20 items because it's only going from top to bottom. If you do from bottom to top, it's going to rotate your closet consistently. So unless you're somebody who keeps their closet in a specific order, which I know some people do, then they may only want that top to bottom share to keep that order in their closet.
And you can also just share things that are available. You have the ability to say, don't share the solds. Yes. Or unavailable, whatever we want to call them.
And then that's a good thing because you obviously want your available items to be sold. I don't like when people come in and like items that I've already sold because I'm generally not getting them back.
Exactly. I know. And I never understood that. Why are we looking at things that are unavailable? But that is something people do on Posh.
They do. Yes. Yeah. I think their mentality is it might come back in stock, like kind of like eBay or Amazon, which is not how Poshmark performs.
Agreed. I totally agree. So now we're going to talk about follows.
Yes.
About following. You can set list perfectly to follow other closets, follow new posters, or even unfollow closets, all with the same level of control over how often and when it happens.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. Why would you unfollow a closet? I saw that that's one of the options. And let me see if I can just show you.
Yeah, that is an option that honestly, I'm not really like, I don't understand because you're going to eventually end up following them again anyways, I feel like. And I mean, I follow 3 million people on Poshmark, but I only have almost 400,000 people following me back. So, I mean, even though I'm following a large amount and only a smaller amount is following me back, I think in earlier Poshmark days, you wanted more people following you versus you following them, almost like an Instagram type thing.
Yeah.
I think that was the mentality.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I just didn't understand why people did that, but
just enable return shares and list perfectly will automatically share a few of their items back once a day.
Sorry,
you can
I was
also
trying to
choose
find
to
it.
Share your entire closet, spread shares across multiple days, or keep sharing all day long. Plus, you can even pick the order items are shared. Once sharing begins, you'll see share stats update in real time. Then if you head over to Poshmark, you'll notice your share count climbing automatically. Next, let's talk about following. You can set list perfectly to follow other closets, follow new posters, or even unfollow closets, all with the same level of control over how often and when it happens. And finally, sending offers. List perfectly can automatically send discounts shortly after someone likes your item. You set the discount, control shipping options, and even exclude certain listings. Offers can run on a schedule or go out automatically every 10 minutes after a new like.
So that, to me, that's the powerful thing right there.
I love it.
The fact that you like it and in 10 minutes you're going to get an offer, to me, that's very powerful because we have all seen, you're in the app, you're liking something, you like it right then. If somebody sends you an offer right that minute and you're interested, you might be more apt to buy it right that second.
You're capturing the customer before they go shopping other places.
Right.
And that I think is the most important thing, that you're capturing them while they're still interested. Because honestly, I mean, you even see it online. People can't stand 2 seconds on a TikTok before they swipe. So, true. I mean, the attention span, honestly, they've said has gone down because of so many things and overstimulation. So if you're not capturing them while they're interested, while they're stimulated in purchasing, they may not be interested tomorrow because then they thought about it and go, you know what, maybe I don't want those shoes. Right. But if you captured them there, they need those shoes.
Right. Exactly. And I also love the fact that you can exclude some URLs. Yes. So if you have something that is really in demand, maybe you want to wait a few weeks or a few months and see if you can get top dollar for it. A Louis Vuitton bag or whatever, that I don't feel the need that I have to go out and try to get it that way.
And if you do want, you can go in and make that manual 10% off in a week or 2 weeks. So
Right.
that gives you, again, control over everything in your closet, from sharing to sending offers to even who you're following and unfollowing. So I think this is the ultimate control without control.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in control of when and how everything runs. So your closet stays active and sales keep moving without all the extra work.
There we go. Well, thank you very much for that. Let me see. Sorry, guys. I'm a little new I'm not usually the one in control here. So let me see how
You got this.
I got this. I did it.
Yes.
Yay. Okay. Would waiting, Ed asked, is waiting 15 minutes after they like an item be better, or essentially as soon as they like the item? I think as soon as people like it. I love the 10-minute thing. I really think it's smart. What do you think, Desiree?
Like you said, I think it depends on the product. If it's a brand new high demand, if it's a Labubu, I'm not sending anybody offers. That's just the way it is, because everybody's going to buy them full price. Like they're
Right.
just gonna come out and purchase. And if they do send you an offer, you then can decide. And now that Poshmark has added that offer feature in there, where you can actually put that low offer in there that you're willing to take, that also takes the control out of you having to respond to offers that maybe are counter offers and things like that. So List Perfectly is working on one end and Poshmark's helping you on the other.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and that's the best of both worlds, right? The fact that they work together.
Yes.
Almost. And so, and I do love the fact that you brought up about Poshmark, and that it gets that the descriptions are searched.
Yes.
And I don't think I understood that intellectually, I think, but now that you say that, I can see how powerful that is. And so, do you put your keywords in the bottom of your description? Is that something you do?
I place them strategically within the description. So
Okay.
with Google really likes long tail keywords. So if it's a red shirt, they want to see red collared polo or red button up tank top. Like, so they like those keywords, generally 2 to 3 words within a search, because that's what people are searching for. So if they get those 3 keywords, you're going to come up at the top. And that, I think, really helps. And then also when you're using aesthetics, Poshmark loves aesthetics. And I know other platforms do as well. But those aesthetics, if you can add those in with your red polo top, that is a preppy core aesthetic. I mean, you can add that into a sentence that is more viable to Google in search.
Okay. The other thing I want to talk about really quickly about, I know I work for List Perfectly, so I'm going to sound a little biased, but the fact that it's an all-in-one product, right? I mean, for years, we all had to have an outside sharing tool, because the reality is that to make any kind of real money on Poshmark, you need to have one of these. It's just the truth. The way that it is built, you need a sharing tool. And what I really admire about Clara and Amanda is that they built this with some restraint. They didn't want people to end up getting in share jail. And we all know people who have ended up in there.
I've been in there.
Me too.
Yeah.
On a daily basis, I'm like out, I'm out for so long. And so we have really tried to build a product that
it's completely compliant with their regulations. Like that is, I think, the most important thing, is that I can't put myself in share jail with, like I can with other services.
Right. And I also think that it is important to note, and I think it's just so true, that anybody who knows me, I say account health, because the one thing that we have control over as resellers is the account health of our accounts, of our stores, of our closets, whatever. And this goes across all platforms, not just Poshmark. And so making sure that you are staying compliant, that you are within guidelines. Now, Does that mean that this other one may be doing more and so somebody else is getting more? Yes, it could, but they could be getting in share jail every other day. And we want you guys to stay compliant and to get the most out of the platform by staying within their own regulations. Oh,
I mean, List Perfectly has saved me. Oh, hi, Clara.
I didn't know she was here. Yeah.
Of course. But List Perfectly has saved me actually several other programs. I no longer need to use Canva to remove backgrounds.
Right.
I no longer need like some other service to make my descriptions for me. I no longer need now a Poshmark sharing tool. So I have cut out 3 other programs that I was
Right.
paying for
Right.
while I was paying for List Perfectly. So now I just saved money and I still have my all-in-one. So, and it's all in, I don't have to go back and check all these other places and go, okay, I need to go edit my pictures in Canva. Then I need to put them in List Perfectly.
Right.
Then I need to make sure my sharing tool is doing all of its job over on this
Right.
other side. So,
Which is what we all used to do for years. We all did this, right? I mean, it was the only way to do it.
pretty much.
Yeah. So okay, so the sharing tool, we both in agreement, great tool. I love the offers to likers. I think that's wonderful. Tell me why it's important that you follow other closets. Why it's important that you follow likers. Why is that important?
I think it's because Poshmark made it very community based, and you always see PFF, which is Posh Friends Forever. So when you even see people still at this point will greet new people that are either new sellers or even people brand new because they want to say thank you for coming to Poshmark.
Yep.
Come look at my closet.
Right.
So that's their way of almost advertising. So I really think engaging with your customers is important. And when you're sharing their closets, you're almost sharing another person's small business, which
Right.
they appreciate.
And it also, if you think of it that way, also, Poshmark itself has set up, they have Ambassador 1 program and Ambassador 2 program. And in both of those programs, you need to welcome so many new Poshers. You need to follow so many people. Like they themselves have made these guidelines because they expect the community to be a community. So if you want to do well on Posh, you kind of have to do all these things.
Yes. And if they're putting that in there, I mean, to think about it, if that's a little requirement, then that's something that they want you to continue to do, not just to meet the requirement and go, all right, I'm done.
Exactly. All right. So speaking of Poshmark, we are going to Posh Fest.
I'm excited.
So we've been sponsoring Posh Fest for the last few years. And you know, what I really love about Posh Fest, one place you get to go see all your friends, which is always great. But Posh Fest really does have a different feel than like an eBay Open. There is a lot of talk about sustainability and the recycles. And, that is a big deal to them at Poshmark. And they really kind of push that. Recycle, relove. They all have that reposh now when you buy something from Poshmark and you're able to put it back onto Poshmark. And I just want to point out this photo right here of Clara and Manish dancing is my favorite thing ever.
I do. I love it.
I just love that photo. But we had a really big, the bottom right-hand corner, that was last year. We had a really big group of people who came last year in Tennessee. And I actually think we're going to have a pretty big group this year in San Jose. So, and Desiree's going. It's going to be great. But the thing about List Perfectly is for sustainable fashion. And I am really kind of just focusing on fashion today, only because basically that's what Poshmark is. They do have home goods now, though, right, Desiree?
Yes. You're able to sell linens, and I've sold books on there. I've sold toys for children, kids' books. So yeah, you can sell pretty much anything, even like makeup is okay. You do just have to be making sure that your products are in line with their regulations as far as expiration dates and things like that.
I do think that Poshmark really is a place that practices circular fashion, recycle, downcycling, upcycling. There are a lot of people who do things. I Ed just wrote home. He meant home goods, electronics, pets. I even sold automotive accessories there. So Poshmark really is kind of stretching its legs from when it first started. And when it first started, it really was just fashion. But this year, what we decided to do at PoshFest was we decided to buy from resellers for resellers. So what we decided to do was to buy a few really great products that we're going to give out at PoshFest instead of giving out things. We wanted to give out something from our own community. So we bought from a few resellers and we're going to be giving them away at PoshFest. You just got to come to the booth, spin the wheel. And so we bought from Becky Park. We bought from Sarah Boynton. We bought from Maria the Stylister. We bought from our own Crystal Mouse. We bought from Vicky Zilverberg. And we bought some really great items. And plus, of course, Clara, being Clara, there'll be a few extra things in there by the time she gets there, because we all know how she is. But right now, here are the things that you can win. We have a Gucci purse. We have, I'm going to say this wrong, a Rook leather briefcase. We have a Gucci wallet. We have some Gucci sneakers. We have a brand new Patagonia. We have a Dooney and Burke leather satchel. We have a 1 year List Perfectly Pro Plus membership, which would be fantastic.
Right.
A label printer, a regular computer, and much more. And I think what's great about this is that these are things that you can either keep for yourself or you can resell them. If I won the Gucci pocketbook, of course, I can't win anything. I don't want anybody to think that. But if I could win the Gucci pocketbook, and I did, I'd probably keep it because I'm not very good.
I'd keep it too.
Good girl.
I know.
Good girl. So I just want to go over again, about the Poshmark sharing tools. So Poshmark Sharing, and the Poshmark Sharing is on Pro and Pro Plus level. And you can be active all day, but it's also a customizable time. Like Desiree and I talked about, sometimes she does it all day. Sometimes she decides when she wants to do it. And you'll always get to see the stats, which I think is very important. Follow and follow backs. You can choose when and the amounts. We'll send offers. We can send offers every 10 minutes to a new liker, which I think is the best. And all of these are on Pro Plus level. So Desiree, tell us a little bit about your philosophy of Poshmark. Since it is your biggest,
it's my top platform. My husband.
Yeah. Sorry.
As Gina would say, my husband.
Yeah, your husband. Gina has this whole thing where our husbands are the biggest platforms, our boyfriends are the second biggest, and then our side pieces. This is how Gina talks about the platforms in Mastermind.
So yeah, Poshmark, I've been on there since 2017. When I first started, I thought sharing my item was going to bombard people. I thought I was getting them to their emails. I'm like, if I share too much, people are going to not unfollow me. I was paranoid, and nobody explained to me how it worked. So a lot of people don't understand that sharing is probably the most important thing you can do, no matter how small or big your closet is. Right. And then the second best thing you can do is have a good title and good picture. Well, second and third. So, that's what's selling your item. If you can't see it, you explain it like somebody's blind. And if you can't read it, you explain the same way. So
the photo is someone who, they can't read.
So
that is really good advice.
Yeah. And I think also I communicate with my buyers before and after purchase. Soon as they receive their item, I tell them, thank you for your purchase. And this item will be mailed out on blah, blah, blah. If it's a holiday, it's going out Tuesday. I just tell them, have a great holiday weekend. I try to make it personal because that is what Poshmark is about. They love tissue paper. They kind of like the whole thank you note. So it's a different game on Poshmark.
So that is something that we have talked about in Mastermind a few times, and about how, Poshmark is a different animal than eBay. And if you want to be successful on Posh, not that everybody does this, but some of the more successful people on Posh really try to have a more boutique feel than maybe, like a Lord and Taylor. And so, and I've never been good at that. I'm an eBay girl, right? I want to give you a good deal. I want to give you the best deal, the fastest shipping. I want you to feel like you came away from this experience and that you got the value for your money. And I think Posh is just different than that. I think Posh really is more about the experience.
It is. I think so as well. I think it started that way with people. Obviously, like you said, Poshmark started with people selling stuff out of their closet. So when they sent it to other people, they were probably like sending it in their original Gucci bags that they came in and the Gucci boxes. And so I think it kind of became a higher standard than selling on other platforms like eBay or Mercari.
Well, and it's certainly different. I mean, it's an interesting thing. And I often try to figure out, we talked about this a few weeks ago in Mastermind and about if you list everything everywhere or if you make decisions and don't list everything everywhere. And so, and that's two different philosophies. Some people, everything they have goes on every platform, and it's just how many hooks I have in the water to see what fish will nibble.
Yep.
And some people say, no, I'm not putting that on Posh. That's not Posh's deal. I'm going to just keep it on eBay, or I'm going to put that on Depop. Do you do that, or what's your kind of strategy for that?
Not after I had a dress on Poshmark for a year and a half and did not sell for $50, put it back up on eBay with all of the stuff, and just said, you know what, I'm putting it up there for $90. It sold for $85. So, I mean, and it sold within like 2 weeks. And I was just
what is doing?
Yeah, but that just made me think, all right, well, obviously, no matter what, you don't know where your shopper is going to be, because some people hate Poshmark and maybe they had a bad experience and they love eBay, or vice versa. Maybe they had a horrible experience on eBay and said, I'll never go back. And now they're a Poshmark customer. So, I mean, it really depends, because I've had people even go to my website and say, I don't trust purchasing off of a strange website, but I trust Poshmark. And they'll pay more on Poshmark because they trust them.
I think that's fair. I think that's really a fair thing, because, it is one of those things that there is so much uncertainty that at least when you're buying like from eBay or from Poshmark, there's a company that stands behind that.
Yes.
And so when something happens for the buyer or the seller, they can step in and help you. And Posh is different than eBay. They don't really have returns. And I know a lot of Poshers love that. They think that that's a great thing about Poshmark. I personally don't, but that's beside the point.
I think it should be a seller discretion, honestly. I think if you're that person who just doesn't want your items back, then they should allow it to where you just, if you sold it as it is, then, and it arrived and it didn't fit, that's your problem. But if I, as a bigger seller, want to take returns, I should be allowed to.
I agree with you. I wish that they would make that change. Maybe we'll mention it when we're at Posh next week.
Oh,
So again, we're going to go into, I believe we are. Hold on. Let me double check before.
Oh, yes. We should have an after party.
I think we do. Let me just make sure.
I mean, so it's Friday night.
What?
It's Friday
night. Is that what you said?
Party, yes.
So we're going to leave right now, and we're going to go over to the after party. So if you are a List Perfectly subscriber, we'd love to have you come into Listing Party. Desiree and I will be in there, and we can talk about all things Posh. Hell, we can talk about anything you guys want to. But if you are not a List Perfectly subscriber, Desiree has a discount code on the screen. One of the great things about List Perfectly is you get our community arm, which is called Listing Party. And in Listing Party, there's events. And like this is going to be an event. We'll go in there and it's kind of like this, but we can all talk and share. And, everybody shares ideas. I do a mastermind class every day, Monday through Friday. And then there's a second mastermind class in the afternoon for West Coast folks. We do 411. We did a deep dive on business policies the other day. So there's always something going on in there, and we'd love to see you. So if you are not a subscriber, we'd love to have you. And Desiree, thank you so much. This was great.
Yes, I do have to say thank you to Clara for letting us have all of this. And Listing Party has brought me friends that I never thought I would have from all over the world. So, I mean, I can't thank this enough for having Listing Party, because I've met people not only online, in person, but I call these people every day, like their family. So, and I speak to you all the time. So, I mean, it's just, if you feel lonely in this business, it's worth the plan just to be in the Listing Party, to grow your business, and to just have people that understand. I can't call my family members and tell them about my horrible customer.
Yes, it's true. That is amazing. It really is. And the first time that I got into a room of resellers who like understood what I was talking about, I was like, oh, what is going on? And most of us don't do the same thing. We all sell something different, but everybody's willing to tell you, well, this works for me. This didn't work. Why are you doing it that way? And listen, we all do it different, and it's fine. I think that being able to run a resale business but have help is absolutely imperative. And I'm glad that Listing Party has really helped you. That's great.
The support alone is worth my subscription, honestly, just that alone, because I have learned so much from other sellers, and I am not a big dog. So I learn from small people to people above me. So it doesn't matter what level you're at. This is really important if you want to continue in this business.
I agree with that. Yay!
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of course. It was great. And I look forward to seeing you next week. And everybody come on into Listing Party. Thanks, guys.
Bye.
See? Sorry, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. Hold on. Let's try it again. Bye.